hard to believe that this time last year, a woman in the United Kingdom became the first person in the world to receive a COVID-19 vaccine.
If I can do it, well, so can you.
Other countries were quick to follow suit. The US administered its first COVID vaccines on December 14th.
I feel hopeful today, relieved. I feel like healing is coming.
Yeah, it's already been a year since COVID-19 vaccines started going into people's arms. I mean, time flies when you're stuck in a pandemic, right? 365 days into that rollout, Our World in data shows more than 8 billion vaccine doses have been given out. At this point, 55% of the world's population has received at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. While there's still those who need to get their first dose, others are already getting boosted. On Wednesday, Pfizer said early lab tests showed that their COVID vaccine, plus the booster, offers significant protection against Omicron. But getting to this point hasn't been easy. There's been the wait for approvals, countries struggling to get doses, and misinformation about vaccines have spread like wildfire. So in this episode, we're looking at how far we've come with COVID-19 vaccinations over the last year, and what hurdles are still in front of us to get people all over the world vaccinated. To get a global picture, I hit up a few friends of ITL. We'll start right here in the US with National Health and Science correspondent Lindsay Thies.
In the past year, we've gone from mass vaccination sites for staggered groups to COVID vaccines for children as young as 5 and booster shots for all adults. In the United States, we have 2 different kinds of authorized COVID vaccine, one from Johnson & Johnson that uses a viral vector, and 2 from Moderna and Pfizer that use mRNA technology. While the mRNA vaccines were the first of their kind, the science was studied before for other diseases like the flu, Zika, and rabies. June 2021 brought the threat of the Delta variant, which combined with the fact that immunity from vaccines wanes over time, brought boosters into the picture. The latest numbers show more than 235 million Americans 5 and older have gotten at least one dose of a COVID vaccine. 47 million Americans 18 and up have gotten a booster.
I think of this as our country, our pharmaceutical industry, our policymakers, our government workers worked really, really hard at making this so-called miracle. This is not the result of accident. This is a result of a lot of people putting their best efforts towards something that is very difficult. And frankly, they've made a lot of mistakes along the way. I'm not saying that we've been perfect, but my God, when you think about what the odds were a year and a half ago and where we are right now, we've made a lot of progress, and we still have a lot of work to do.
The Omicron variant and winter Delta variant surge are showing the need for vaccinations and boosters worldwide. Science has shown us the more people vaccinated, the less chance the coronavirus has to mutate, and it's those mutations that lead to variants of concern. I'm Lindsay Thies in San Francisco. Back to you.
All right, many thanks, Lindsay, for leading us off. Now let's skip abroad and check in with Trent Murray in Berlin, Germany.
Well, this anniversary will concentrate many minds and also be a real point of reflection for many people here in Europe, as a resurgence of the virus continues to show little sign of slowing down here. It is clear that restrictions many thought would be a thing of the past will be here to stay in many places. Things like lockdowns, COVID-19 passports and travel bans. Lawmakers are pleading with Europeans to have patience as vaccines continue to be rolled out and scientists work on researching ways to fight this virus. They also say that cooperation and cohesion is key, not just within Europe itself, but also internationally, pointing to many examples of how Europe and America have worked together to fight this pandemic. Trent Murray for Newsy, Berlin.
Many thanks, Trent. Let's head south and catch up with Mark Rafton, who has more from Cape Town, South Africa.
The Omicron variant is driving a 4th wave of COVID-19 infections. One of government's focuses in response to this is to encourage citizens to get vaccinated. The numbers have increased to around 25% of the population now fully vaccinated, but as a continent, Africa is lagging behind the rest of the world with just over 7% of the population fully vaccinated. Vaccine supply was initially a concern and a problem on the continent, but today only 56% of supplied vaccines have been administered. Logistical challenges remain in many countries, but vaccine hesitancy is also a challenge that governments face, and both governments and businesses are now considering vaccine mandates to encourage a population more than twice the size of that of North America to get vaccinated. I'm Mark Roughton in Cape Town, South Africa.
All right, much appreciated, Mark. Finally, let's drop in on Rebecca Bundan in Mumbai, India.
India's been one of the countries hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. It's second only to the United States in terms of the official total number of infections to date. A deadly second wave of infections earlier this year brought the country's healthcare system to its knees. And despite India being the world's largest manufacturer of vaccines, it's still nowhere near hitting its original target of vaccinating the entire adult population by the end of this year. So far, about half of all adults have been fully inoculated against the virus. Most have received at least one dose. The vaccine still isn't available to children here yet. It's a huge logistical challenge to vaccinate citizens in a country of some 1.4 billion. Most people live in rural areas, and India's faced challenges including shortages of doses and hesitancy. But the vaccination drive has been picking up, and doctors say that concerns about the Omicron variant are prompting more people to go and get vaccinated. There's also a push from the Indian Medical Association for booster doses to be made available to doctors and nurses and those who are most vulnerable to COVID-19. This comes amid fears that the Omicron variant could trigger a third wave of infections in India. Rebecca Bundan for Newsy, Mumbai, India.
Many thanks to Rebecca and to all the other correspondents from around the world who gave us a glimpse of their neck of the woods. 1 year into the vaccine era of the pandemic, and we might be here a while. So we'll continue to bring you coverage from around the world as things develop. All right, now that we've landed back at the desk, we're going to take a quick break. When we're back, we'll unpack some of the day's trending topics. We'll see you in a few.